Ramayana is an Indian epic that has been known all over the world. Ramayana is kaiva, a poem used to educate young people that include Dharma Sastra, which is moral teaching, Artha Sastra, which is political teaching, and Niti Sastra, which is teaching about the noble way of life. The spread of Ramayana epic is remarkable, especially in ASEAN countries, including Indonesia. The story of Ramayana began to be known in Indonesia around 925 AD. Among others is Kakawin Ramayana, Hikayat Sri Rama in Malay language, Rama Keling, Serat Kanda, and Serat Rama composed by Yasadipura in the New Japanese. Over time, Ramayana has attracted the attention of Indonesian modern literary authors. The epic was adapted as dulce et utile literature, a work that not only entertaining but also give meaning to life. The adaptation can be found in the form of poetry, prose, and even comic. Some of these works have attracted the attention of critics and academics to examine and study them. However, they only focus on the intertextual work that compare the original version of Ramayana with the adaptation ones. Research findings still revolve around the change of characterization of the male character. Of 20 recorded Ramayana's adaptation work, only 2 of them have the focus on the narration of female character, namely Sitayana by Sawitri and Namaku Sita by Sapardi Djoko Damono. A study on these 2 works is necessary in view of the new phase over by the 2 works. For the vocabulary of Ramayana storytelling, which has been acknowledged and deep-rooted in the society. Qualitative method enable a reading of these 2 works to find that there is a relation between woman and nature, which is used by the author to break the stereotype of the 3 main characters that have been well embedded in the Ramayana story. In this study, the author brought out Alain Viala's sequence theory and narratology theory by Mieke Bal to dissect these 2 works. Then using the socialist ecofeminism theory of Vandana Shiva to see the relation between the female character and nature, which influences the breaking of the character stereotype. As Bal put it, narratology is a narrative theory, narrative text, an image, a spectacle, an event, and cultural artifact that tell a story. The 2 elements of narration discussed in this text are narrator and vocalizator. Narrator is the one describing a fictional world of the character, while vocalizator is the one conveying the relationship between vision and what it sees. On the poem Namaku Sita, the story of Ramayana is presented by 3 characters, namely Dalang, Rakyat, and Sita. The characters Dalang and Rakyat are of the story and use a third-person point of view, whereas Sita is the one who is involved in the story and take the first person's point of view. The proportion of the 3 narrators' presence are quite balanced in the story. The 3 narrators take turns to present the storyline from the birth, marriage, exile to Sita's death. In this story, the narrator Dalang and Rakyat borrow the vocalization of the old Ramayana, which still bears patriarchy value. Rama is depicted as a noble and tough knight, Sita as an obedient wife to her husband, and Rawana as a super powerful king. Meanwhile, Sita's vocalization was presented to represent her resistance to the old patriarchal concept, as if defying the stereotype of Sita, who is portrayed as an obedient wife. She showed another side of herself. The chivalrous nature attached to Rama was broken by her. Sita said that Rama was a coward who couldn't even make up his own mind. To the contrary, the character Rawana, who has been considered evil, in Sita's perspective appears as a father who protects her. Sita's breaking of stereotype appears in every phase of her life, from birth to death. Sita broke the stereotype while also being supported by the nature. In the birth phase, Sita is described as being born from Mother Earth. Likewise, when she was exiled to the forest, Sita thought that the forest was not just a home to return to, but also beyond that provided protection. Sita shifted the stereotype of her kidnapping incident into an event that she chose consciously. She put the deer that had been considered a trap as her twin sister. Sita's closeness to nature was further illustrated with the fire, which was used as a medium to test Sita's purity, refused to burn her body. Different from Namaku Sita, Sitayana appeared as a prose which maintained the old form of Ramayana. Borrowing the sequence theory of Alain Viala, the novel Sitayana is divided into 4 sections: Prologue, Ramayuddha, Sitayana, and Epilogue, which contain all events from Sita's birth up to her death. In the Prologue and Ramayuddha section, the narrator told more about the life of Rama and Ravana, while the focalization of the character Sita only appeared in the Sitayana and Epilogue section. Just like Namaku Sita, Sitayana also featured characters that were opposite from the classic Ramayana. Rama was described as a fickle man, Ravana was a wise man, while Sita was a woman who finally had her own way. However, those changes in stereotype emerged from Sita's social awareness without involving nature too far. Nature in Sitayana is only used as a background and property to support the structure of the story. Even in some part, it was described as if there was still a hierarchical relationship between nature and woman. Sita was shown as someone who could exert a good influence on nature. In other words, the nature of these two stories is present at every phase of Sita's life. It corresponds with the concept of ecofeminism by Vandana Shiva. Shiva used the term interconnection to explain that relation between living things, including human beings, and the universe, in order to reject the present concept of culture-nature dualism that serves as a justification of humans' dominion over nature. In the perspective of ecofeminism, the two words show different relation between woman and nature. On Namaku Sita, women and nature play a role that breaks the gender stereotype attached to the 3 main characters in the Ramayana story. Meanwhile, in Sitayana, the woman and nature relation that emerge is still based on Sita as the subject, while nature is merely an object of support. Therefore, from these two contemporary adaptations from Ramayana, only Namaku Sita that uses woman and nature relation as a means to break the stereotype of character in Ramayana epic and make their connection as the author's criticism toward natural exploitation and objectification by human.